Oh, hi everyone. I'm David Carlton. I've been reading here for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. I recently got back from a trip to Chicago, and while I was in Chicago, I got to have a very, very lovely experience, and I got to see someone who I haven't seen in, it was exactly 7 years and 2 months to the day since she and I had been in the same room. If she'd shown up on time, it actually would have been to the minute, exactly 7 years and 2 months. This first poem is one that I wrote during the period of time when we hadn't seen each other. This is called A Letter to Misty on Her Wedding Day. I was listening to a lot of Leonard Cohen when I wrote this. It's 5 in the morning, in the middle of February, and I'm writing you now in the style of L. Cohen, just to say that I miss you, and that the world has not ended, so nothing has changed. How's life been treating you? Do you enjoy being an underpaid barista engaged to a useless rich boy while you're studying criminal psychology? Is it driving you slowly, desperately mad with boredom, coming home every night to a beige Abyssinian as your only company, with barely enough time to breathe, let alone sleep or study before you are back behind the counter? Manet painted you once, you know. And me? Oh, honey, my life is a bed of roses, growing in a big, wet turd. Oh, don't get me wrong, art school's been lovely, and my work is improving daily. My lines are cleaner, and my figures seem to burst off of the page. But Savannah is a pubescent boy's armpit in the winter, and the stench of rotten eggs from the paper mill is a car salesman's cologne. The palm trees are a mockery this time of year, praying claws ready to slash at a moment's notice. And now I've heard that Chicago's winters are like Russian novels, cold, gray, dense, and impenetrable, full of winds that bite like tigers and snow that stretches for miles further every day. Personally, I would trade this lush garden of good and evil for a day in the life of Ivan Denisovich, if it meant that I could curl up next to you for some actual warmth at night. Sweetie, life without you has been a montage of blondes and older women, and it has been a regular rake's progress and then some, looking for a place to stay. And though they've all been nice enough to visit, nothing's felt like home. It's funny. These days I always move out before anyone can even consider evicting me. Do you want to know what happened to all of my flannel shirts that you loved so well? Well, some of them I've given away as keepsakes to my visitors, but most of them hang lonely in my closet, and they have been collecting the stink of mothballs for nearly a year now. I wonder if the same could be said for all of your beautiful lingerie. Do you keep that locked up in the same drawer where you keep your old boyfriends? Frankly, darling, I have spent the last 6 months of my life with the final scene from The Graduate playing in my head endlessly on a loop. And I would trade in every single moment of the last 3 years of my life just to see you walking towards me in a white dress. And I have learned that yes, there are worse things than being alone. There's too little, too late, too far, and too bad. But if I could be there, on that day I would not speak. I would forever hold my peace. And afterwards, I would find your father and shake his hand, thank him for the honor of inviting me to his daughter's wedding, and tell him that I ask no favors. And I would walk away As I did, I would hold on to the hope that maybe somehow, someday, your first child might still be mine as well, masculine or not. Sincerely, David Carlton. And this one, so the subject of that poem is I got to see her. We got to spend a day together. It was very, very nice. It's probably the nicest thing I've done in a very long time. Actually, it's completely changed my mood, demeanor, and behaviors. My friends who I was staying with commented that they had never seen me sit still or speak that quietly for that long. My regular speaking voice is usually at about this volume, but since I got back from the museum, I have, for some reason, gained the ability to speak in an indoor voice. This is called Together, and it's about what we must have appeared at. You know, we drank coffee in the members' lounge of the Museum of the Art Institute of Chicago. This poem is more or less about what we must have looked like to any casual observer in the room unaware of our situation. They sat there, the two of them, atop leather bar stools in the museum's very crowded members' lounge, drinking large paper cups filled with coffee which they had impregnated with hot chocolate. If anyone else in the room had been watching them, what they would have seen was a young couple with matching green eyes, pale skin, and red hair, dressed similarly in gray shirts, blue jeans, and black leather boots, each of them smiling constantly and calmly, aware only of each other and the simple pleasures of the good times of love's miracle, as she traced the lines on his palm with her index finger. A young couple enjoying each other's company on New Year's Eve. A nice couple. A cute couple. They finished their coffee, shared a kiss, and left the room. And maybe, just maybe, they would go home, have babies, and fulfill their career dreams. No one in that room would know that going home was something that they would do separately. No one would know that this was the first time they had seen each other in over 7 years. No one would know that he had driven 13 hours across 4 states and through a snowstorm to see her. None of them would know that the diamonds and gold she wore upon her finger were not put there by him. Piece of advice. If you can avoid having, the only human being you really ever want to spend your time with marrying another human being, do it. Like, avoid that like the plague. It really stinks. And then you end up in a situation where, you're so used to the fact that this is a thing that you speak about it casually in public. No, I've totally been having this emotional affair with a married woman for like 7 years. I'm used to it. It's nothing. Anyway, good night, everyone. Thanks.
Give it up for Dave Carlson again, everybody.